Hello, and welcome to the first video on my YouTube channel talking about a project that I am so proud of. This project is called Faithfully Yours, Mozart, and we currently have 2 episodes that are out on our YouTube channel and Spotify channel. So what is Faithfully Yours, Mozart? Well, 12 months ago, I was in a writer's drought. And, hydrate. 12 months ago, I was in the drought. I was in the writing sort of spiel where, in essence, I no longer was interested in writing. I felt that much of what I was trying to create had kind of fallen flat. It wasn't interesting enough. Oh, that's just on my phone. Sorry. I thought there was something on my ceiling. Anything that I had tried to create, I felt that it was very, it was a failure, in essence. So I was doing a podcast with someone who, if you've been on my channel long enough, if you've looked through any of the interviews that I do, because I do interviews with fellow neurodivergent creators and just fellow actors in general, called Coffee Break, a retrospective pod. And on Coffee Break, I had my friend and fellow acting colleague of 4 to 5 years now at this point, Jack Morby. And we discussed, sort of, I don't know, we were talking just all kinds of things, and I think I was just interviewing him, and I asked him if there was any role on stage he would ever want to go for, and he said that he would love to have played the Amadeus version of Wolfgang, of Mozart. But so from this conversation came a bit of a jumping off point where it was mentioned to me that my friend Jack believed that Wolfgang presented some traits of being on the autism spectrum. Now, mind you, this is just his thoughts, and this is what sparked the idea. For some reason, people tend to get really offended when I say that I am writing a neurodivergent Wolfgang, based upon a lot of factors. I fell in love with, of course, it's on my shelf. Ooh, things are falling. That's okay. I'll pick them up later. I fell in love, of course, with Amadeus. Amadeus, the 1984 movie. I love this film. It's a great film. And it's hardly ever on streaming, so if you can pick it up on Blu-ray or DVD, please do. It's a good film. It's a great play. Mozart's an amazing, subject matter as well. But I never imagined that watching Amadeus would lead to a lot of things. I never imagined it would lead to a 4-book series. I never imagined it would lead to England, and that's a story for another time. I never imagined that walking into the world of Mozart would lead into a lot of things. A lot of things that I never imagined were possible. Happened after I started writing about Mozart. pardon me. Even this World War II project, if you've watched any of my other videos, I am currently doing a project about a little unknown actor known as Stephen Haggard. Even Mozart. Finding old Mozart movies led me to Stephen. And it's kind of amazing how that all happened. And it's still happening. Things are happening behind the scenes. It's really cool. But Tangent Express, welcome to it. This is how this goes. But Faithfully Yours Mozart was born out of 12 months of research. And 12 months of research that you kind of see right here before me. In all these books that I'm about to show you that are in my hands. Mozart by Maynard Solomon, A Mozart Pilgrimage. Marrying Mozart, very good fictional book. It's sweet, it's really sweet, I do recommend this. Of course, Amadeus. Where would one be without a copy of Peter Shaffer's Amadeus that started the whole thing? Conversations with Mozart. Highly, 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 highly recommend this book. If you've ever wanted a streamlined version of Mozart's letters and life, and you, in an enjoyable read, a fast read, Conversations with Mozart. This here is by far the most important thing that I have. This is the first biography of Mozart by his wife, Constanza Weber. And it's because of Constanza that I even began to write the story of Faithfully Yours Mozart. Before I move on and tell you about that, which I've been trying to do for the last couple of minutes, this book is sexist. Little side tangent. This author is a sexist. I'm not a feminist. I don't claim to be. I'm not. Very sorry. But the way that the sexism and the anger and the cruelty towards Constanza comes off the pages in this book, I would not recommend anyone looking to learn about Constanza read this book, because it's offensive. And I can't believe I even own it and it's on my shelf. I picked it up hoping that I was going to learn something about Constanza in a kind way. No. If you want a novel that actually, you can't hardly even find it. It sucks. Look up a book. I believe it's called The Unpublished Memoir of Constanza Weber, nee Mozart. No, Constanza Nissen, nee Mozart. Look that up if you can and try to find it online somewhere, because it's a kinder fictionalized, dramatized take on Constanza's life, and it paints her in a much better light than whatever this asshole he is. Yes, I said a swear, YouTube, but I'm not a kid-friendly channel. Heinz Gartner is a sexist. So there you go. Not a book I would recommend. Because he basically questions the history without any proof. And it's very unkind. He's very unkind to her. So, moving forward, basically, in my hands, I have books upon books upon books. And I bought these over 12 months. And I bought them over 12 months for one singular purpose, is that I have been writing, as previously mentioned, a series of novels that humanize Wolfgang and his wife. Pardon me. Ugh. I have some drainage this morning, my apologies. But I have been trying to humanize Mozart and his wife Constanza, who, like a lot of things in the world of Mozart, she is left behind. She is forgotten. She is often scorned, and in most biographies, biopics, even sometimes books, they treat her like a Regency-era doxy. That's a real word. I implore you to look it up. It's nothing good. In layman's terms, she's a loose woman. Constanza is a loose woman. Ah, yes. So, basically, Constanza is treated often poorly. And rarely, if ever, in all my months of pursuing this and then all the tangents and rambles in the last few minutes, what I'm basically trying to say is Faithfully Yours Mozart is not necessarily what you've seen before. It's not really about Mozart the genius, it's more about Mozart the man. And it's more about Mozart the man through the eyes of chronic illness, which a lot of biopics and stories tend to leave out, is that Wolfgang was chronically ill. From the age of 6 onward, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was chronically unwell. As I was saying, from the age of 6 onward, Wolfgang was chronically ill. He had everything from smallpox, scarlet fever, which I believe he contracted very young, and it weakened his immune system, it weakened his immune response. He was also born quite sickly out of the womb. And anytime I've ever gone through and I've watched any movie or film or limited TV series and there are lots out there, the one thing that I see is that, well, there's two things that often are skipped over entirely. Number one, his relationship to Constanza. His relationship with his sister is completely off the table. I have tea. It's a tea kind of day. It's very cold out. His relationship with his sister is completely taken out. His relationship with Constanza is either not explored very well or is just not there. Or skipped over entirely. Or they choose to go the route that has been disproven, and they make Wolfgang a womanizer. They completely leave out the fact that he was sick all the time. They completely leave out the fact that he was not very successful in his relationships. As a matter of fact, they oftentimes will focus on Wolfgang being socially inept with money. That's why he had Constanza. She was the one who managed his funds. Or they'll basically skip over her importance, and they either put her in Baden, where she was in his later years of life due to being unwell after so many pregnancies, which Wolfgang spent every expense to send her there. So that's a nail in the coffin of Wolfgang didn't love Constanza. He spent and he borrowed. There are letters that confirm that he borrowed money for her. Against his own expense. He had no money. He didn't borrow for himself. He borrowed for her. So, without getting super emotional, because I probably will, their love story is so touching. And in my opinion, it's one of these things that has not been touched upon very well. As a matter of fact, it's damn. I have no idea what's going on with me today, but I'm having a very hard time talking. The point I'm trying to get to, and have been trying to get to this whole video, is I haven't seen much traction with Faithfully Yours Mozart. Not since the initial concept pilot, which was so wonderful that somebody listened to that pilot. It was an amazing pilot. We had such a great time. But we have the series going on right now, and we also have a casting call going on right now, and I've not really been able to get any outreach on it because people won't let me. I'm a tougher director than people give me credit for, okay? Damn it, what the hell is wrong? I will be back again. Sorry. I always get nervous talking about this stuff, which is why I have stopped and started and restarted my videos and all that stuff. The point I'm trying to make is I'm preparing to publish. I have been, for the last few days, polishing the scripts, the manuscripts for the Faithfully Yours Mozart book series that will be self-published via Amazon, and currently busy seeking out a voice actress for Mozart's mother-in-law, Cecilia Weber, and hoping against all hope that the Faithfully Yours Mozart project picks up some traction. Because, to be quite honest with you, I don't have too much belief in this series. Rephrase that. I have a lot of belief in it, but it's been hard to try and get people to listen. And to get them to comment and enjoy and understand what I am writing, creating, and why I am doing it the way that I am, why I am not taking the traditional route that most people do when they talk about Mozart. I'm not interested in Mozart, the genius. I never was. I'm more interested in Mozart, the man, Mozart, the people pleaser. I'm interested in writing the story about him and his wife. It's not really just about Wolfgang. And it's not about Wolfgang, the man who had affairs. It's not about the Wolfgang who people think were this, that, and the other. It is Mozart as he is, right off the pages of his letters. It is dramatized moments of Mozart as I see him, and that is just as he is. Not Mozart as I may interpret him, not Mozart as other people have interpreted him, just Mozart exactly as he writes himself. He wrote himself. It's not that hard to see who Mozart is and his heart, and it's not hard to see the heart of his wife. Why it's so hard for Heinz Gartner, I'll never know. Maybe he has a vendetta against women. I don't know. But what I do know is this. Faithfully Yours Mozart is coming out fully next year. And I will link the casting call below if you so want to, take a shot and try your hand at this, and I would appreciate it. But the Mozart project that I am doing is more than just about Mozart the genius. It is about Mozart in a humanized perspective. He gets to be a person. I don't know why this figure of all figures, like his wife, we've never allowed them to just be people. We always sensationalize, or we trivialize, or we gloss over, or we forget that 200 and some centuries ago, they were people. And they loved each other for the 10 short years that they had together. And Constanza, in her own words, in a Mozart pilgrimage, talks about how he was her Mozart. I'm gonna cry. He was her Mozart. He was her angel. And she loved him so much that when he died, she threw herself on his bed and clung to him and begged God to take her away. She begged God that she might have the fever that took him away. And it wasn't to be. And she lived until she was about 82, I think, 82, 83. And then she passed away in March. And she went to be with him. If we... Sorry. This really touches my heart. It really does. Because all her life, I can't imagine all the things that she heard about herself from people who didn't understand how much she loved him. So that's what Faithfully Yours Mozart is for, is to finally shed a beautiful light on Constanza and Wolfgang's love story, because it has been left behind and mistreated. And she was a beautiful woman. She's the reason why we have Mozart's music. She's the reason why we have the Mozarteum. Constanza is the reason why you and I have Mozart's legacy today. And she is the reason why I am writing Faithfully Yours Mozart. And why I am writing 2 sequel books that will, for the first time, tackle her grief in the light that is always deserved to be tackled in. And that is respectful. So, sorry for the passion, sorry for the tears, or at least the tearing up. Sometimes it's hard for me to cry. I have a chronic dry eye condition that makes it hard to cry, but it really does choke me up a little bit, a lot actually, because her story touched my heart so much. And about 12 months ago, I would have told you that no woman's story in history has ever touched my heart so much than hers. So if you would kindly check out the links below. Spotify, of course, where we are putting most of the series, although 2 of the episodes, 3 actually, are on this YouTube channel. Please check out Faithfully Yours Mozart. It's a beautiful project with beautiful people at the helm. It's neurodivergent Bridgerton, for lack of a better word, but a lot more tame. And it's for those of us in the disability community who need somebody in history, and I think what better person than Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart to be the representative of our struggles and our difficulties in history. Because he fought like Constanza did, and eventually achieved so much more than I think he ever realized. So with that said, thank you for listening, and until next time, I'm Faith Jacobs, signing off.